Oh, yeah. It's freedom, baby. How are you, folks, on a Wednesday? Good to be with you. Got a good show for you today. We have a very fine author. He's been on the show before. He's got a new book out called The White Privilege Album. There he is. I didn't know he was such a ham. Bringing racial harmony to very fine people on both sides. It's buddy A.J. Rice, so I sat down with him and talked about the book and current events, and it's very entertaining. Here's part one. Take it away. My guest today, a good friend of the show. He's been on before. He's a best-selling author. His latest piece of work is right here. A great book. I just started reading it. The White Privilege Album. And The Woken Dead was his last book, and it knocked off Bill Maher, Cat Temp, and a few other people as far as political humor, and he's a great writer. I'm not just saying that because I dated him. He really is.
That's right.
Please welcome my buddy A.J. Rice to the show. A.J.
That's right.
Great to see you.
That's right, Nicky.
Whoa.
Great to see you, brother. Yeah, we dated back when I was a illegal alien female, so now I've transitioned to an Irish Catholic SOB from Philadelphia. That's right.
But it wasn't that what got me attracted to you. It was your music. Weren't you like he played the keyboards at a transgender
That's
band?
Right.
Called
I did. It was a Casio. That's right.
Everybody goes with that. Immediately when I say keyboards, I think you must be the same age.
That's right. Anybody that had a Casio though was always a little light in the loafers. If you ask me, I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna be something, Mom. Look at me. I'm Mozart.
Yeah.
With my tie-dye, slippers.
You never want to be playing an instrument. I saw a guy on a sidewalk in New York City playing a Casio, and people were throwing up money, and some black girl comes up and just fucking destroys it. She both fists. I don't know if she meant to. She meant to pound on the keys, and the fucking legs went out like it was a cripple. And everybody's yelling at her, and I actually laughed my balls off at that. Yeah, Philly.
Was that Lizzo? She started singing when she did that? What happened there?
No, Lizzo. God bless her. She lost about 100.
Got heavy fingers.
Yes, heavy fingers, and if she sat on that thing, would have been dust.
Oh my God.
Let's talk about first of all, what are you trying to say with this book? Tell the people what is it about White Privilege Album. What's the theme? What are you trying to say here?
Well, the subtitle is Bringing Racial Harmony, which I know you do every day on this show, to very fine people on both sides. I know.
That's how
I know the very fine people are tuning in right now. They always tune into this show.
They do, actually. Let me tell you something. Right. You'd be surprised. I have my mix of fans, and now because I'm on Crowder a lot, I have conservatives who are like, real conservatives. They get mad when I take the Lord's name in vain, but they're all right with the word tits and twat. They don't mind that.
That's right.
So, but my fans open to it all.
Once you go past 3 or 4 of George Carlin's words there, the 7 words, they're gone.
Yeah.
They're gone. Well, they need to know that you're, an I-tie from Boston. So, you didn't start. I mean, you came out of the womb this way, all right? They came to you. You didn't come to them. I mean, I've now known you for 20 years almost. I've now known you for 20 years, and you've told the same jokes. It's just that the freaking some comedians and the leftists moved the goalposts past you, but you're still standing in the fucking end zone.
Oh yeah, I was. I burnt them deep. It was a fucking. It was a couple of slow white safeties. I went right by them, and I've been.
That's right.
Let me ask you.
That's right. Just not the exciting whites on the Eagles. All right. We got the exciting whites playing corner on the Eagles.
How about them Eagles? How about them?
Right, baby. Hey, I love it. You kidding me? We're gonna get them again next year. There's some African village right now wearing Chiefs three-peat gear.
I know.
Okay,
I said that on stage.
See, we think alike, you and I, right? We think alike.
Kid sitting in front of a bowl of mush with flies all over him, and he's got a Mahomes shirt on.
That's right.
Enjoy that. I was
watching Brittany Mahomes stuff her face. hanging out with Taylor, or eating a $5,000 sushi. I'm sure they appreciate it.
Look, let me tell you something. Philly, Boston. A lot of I love it. Philly has a worse reputation fan-wise because they don't care what other people think of them, which I absolutely love about anybody who thinks like that. And I became a fan when I was about 11 years old when I saw somebody blind Santa Claus with an ice ball at Veterans Stadium, and that's when I became a Philly fan. Every one of those snowballs had a Duracell battery in it, okay? in case Santa was delivering toys and he needed some batteries to go with those toys. That's right, every single one of them. What did I just look, Philly and Boston and New York could take a leap here because they folded like cheap suits in the Revolutionary War. Philly and Boston invented America. Yeah. I mean, we freaking invented America, so we have every right to act like this. Yeah. Now we both have mayors that are trying to ruin it. That's right. That's fucking right. Those two, they're going to go. I'd like to see the two of them in a spelling bee. I mean, they couldn't. That's right. The two of them look like a Benetton ad, that had been hit by a bus. Fucking they're terrible. Woo. I know. They ruined my town. It was a hard working middle class. Italians didn't like. Let me surprise you though. I don't know if you believe in 23andMe or those things, but according to that, AJ, I'm 1% more Irish than I am Italian. Do you believe that? Well, that looked like a piece of tiramisu, for Christ's sake. That's right. That's right, dude. You're some gabagool coming out of your. Coming out of your pants there. You gotta love Philly. No, it's funny in Philadelphia. Speaking of the Knights of Columbus here and the eye ties. Yeah. The last goofy Irish mayor tried to put a box around around Christopher Columbus statue. Yes. And what do they call them? The Gravy Navy. The Gravy Navy, the Sunday Gravy Navy went down there and ripped that shit right down off of there. They weren't playing with that. They were not playing with that. I never heard of the Gravy Navy. That's amazing. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Gravy Navy. Man. Yo, look, you try to mess around in South Philadelphia with Christopher Columbus, you're gonna catch one. That's why I write about Columbus in this book. I got to tell you, it's like that old joke. It's like, what is it? Hell for Irish people is an Italian restaurant where every day of the year is Columbus Day, and hell for Italians people is an Irish bar with St. Patrick's Day. They had that on The Sopranos. They had that on The Sopranos, actually. Christopher was in a coma for a few days, and he woke up and he said he went to hell, and it was an Irish bar. It was an Irish bar. It was an Irish bar. Oh, mama. That's right. I went to hell, and it was an Irish bar. Well, every day of the year, it's St. Patrick's Day. I'm telling you, T, it's fucking. Well, we hung together, and we created freaking America in the 20th century. The Irish and the Italians. What are you trying to? What are you trying to say? What's the message of this book? The theme. I want to sell this book. Well, so it's basically a defense of three things. Three things that the left tries to destroy, and that at the macro sort of big level. It's Western civilization. So, Greco-Roman, Judeo-Christian civilization. Right. Take a step down, it's the middle class. The left has tried to destroy the middle class. They could talk about how they want to be for the middle class all day long. But the things they do, their policies, the things they stand for, everything from the Green New Deal to redistributing the whole third world to people's front yards, those things exist to crush the middle class. And then the third thing is the nuclear family. And look, we know they hate that. Black Lives Matter put it on their website. It was right next to their love letter to Hamas that the nuclear family was, some sort of construct of white, supremacy. Yeah, social construct. I'm defending those three things in a fun way. The book is 12 chapters. Each chapter is a month of the year. Right. So January privilege all the way through to, you and I celebrating Kwanzaa in December. Right. Which we always do. And look, you have to poke fun at these people. I mean, I grew up watching guys like you and Colin, Louis, and many others, listening to Rush Limbaugh, listening to Howard before he went to Howard before the Diddy White parties, where he's in the basement with Billy Joel, giving each other freaking jabs all day long. Yeah. Right? Giving each other boosters, playing mahjong in the basement. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, you have to use humor to illustrate truth. That's what comedy's about. And it's a check on power. You have to check power. And then, in the old days,
journalists did this, and musicians did it, and actors did it. But now, oh no, now they wrap their arms around Zelensky's bombs. They wrap their arms around, the IRS. They wrap their arms around, Pfizer and Moderna.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing in the book, poking fun at the left. It is a sequel to The Walking Dead. And look, the White Privilege album with an apology to the Beatles, not to Yoko, though. To hell with her. We don't like Yoko. She should deport herself just like...
We don't like Yoko.
Just like Courtney Love, I get all these lesbian comedians keep self-deporting. Why can't I get, and I heard Courtney Love's going to, so a couple guys in England can now kill themselves when they get near her.
Yeah.
Yoko should deport herself too.
Yeah, she really, John Lennon was a pussy whipped. Why? All the broads he could get, he goes with that thing, a short order cook from Panda Express. Jesus Christ. Come on. I know that didn't exist.
So yeah, the White Album is really the White Privilege album. I mean, look, Nick, here's the thing.
Yeah.
The left uses these terms like white privilege and toxic masculinity and the patriarchy. So all I'm doing is kidnapping their terms, stealing them, weaponizing them, using them back against them, and dunking on them because it's so easy. I mean, and they're on the run. This last election, a lot of this woke bullshit, DEI, ESG, the trans mafia, and the rest, they're on the run because the American people have spoken. And I don't think they're going to learn the lesson they should have of the last election.
Well, that's
because I still see out in the streets, the trans, queer, Tesla destroying Muslims. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Well, that's a great point, though. What you said, you're taking the terms and turning them back because it all starts with language. We know that. Whoever controls the language controls the narrative. It's very easy when you have a complicit media on your side on top of controlling, helping you to control the language. So we do need books like this. And it's, I do my little part on stage. I just always, my dad wasn't like a real right-winger. He was just a traditional guy with common sense. He was a Marine, but he wasn't super patriotic. He just saw bullshit and called people on their bullshit. Right. And that's all I've been doing on stage. And the fact that, they marginalize guys like me, Steven Crowder, what fucking YouTube did with Crowder, demonetizing that's how you have some power. And stuff like that. I like that you point out all the stuff that the Western world created.
That's right. And So here's the thing. Most of, the left likes to talk about the arc of, progress bending towards justice.
Right.
But what I'm trying to show in this, and I talk about sports and a lot of other things, is that in a lot of instances, and this is forgotten at the college campus level, right? And the media pretends like this isn't true. And the perverts in Hollywood aren't going to make a movie about this type of stuff.
Right.
But I don't care whether it's, Branch Rickey or Abraham Lincoln.
Right.
There are tons of white people that laid it on the line, that sacrificed blood, treasured reputation, in some cases their life, to basically, move the ball forward. Not just with African Americans. We just had an anniversary. Right. I mean, look, you're Italian. Let's have this discussion. We just had an anniversary of the largest mass lynching in American history. And it wasn't of blacks. It was of Italians in New Orleans about 100 years ago. Catholic Italians. And, that's one of the reasons Columbus Day emerged, was because the Italian immigrants were so freaking pissed off from Boston down to Miami, swooping up through New Orleans, another Catholic city.
Yep.
But people, you're not going to see that movie.
No.
Oh, no. You're going to see the movie about George Floyd, the patron saint of fentanyl.
Well, to be fair, 2 of those Italians were so greasy they slipped through the nooses. But they don't bring... What? Who the fuck said...
Right.
What? Hello?
That's right. They were shaving with olive oil and they came right through it. That's right.
Hey, wait a minute. That's such a great idea. Yeah, so
right.
I love how you point out all the stuff, that the Western civilization the left's trying to tear down. Can I ask you, where does that, I know it comes from academia, because academia is loaded with, fucking hippies and hippies' parents and generation after generation. Where did they Where did it all change? Was it Vietnam in the 60s where that hate towards America from Americans, is that where it kicked off, or was it prevalent before then, or was that the tipping point?
I think, the further we have gotten from World War II,
right,
and we, through the Cold War, and some of the suspect events that took place, everything from the Kennedy assassination through September 11th and COVID and the financial crisis in '08. The level of skepticism by everyone has grown. But when it comes to the ability to sort of undermine the West, look, people don't like to hear this shit, but not all civilizations are created equal. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm just sorry. That's why Albert Einstein and Marconi and Isaac Newton and all these other people didn't exactly come from Zimbabwe. They didn't. They did not come from there. They didn't come from Bangladesh, right? Unless you were put on hold for like 20 minutes trying to talk, talk to Alexander Graham Bell, and then you're on the phone with Bangladesh. But my point is that not all cultures are created equal too.
Well, that's not my point. That was going to be my big point. Multiculturalism.
Correct. Correct. The big mistake is that we're a multicultural country. We are not. We're a multi-ethnic country. But we have one culture here, Greco-Roman, Judeo-Christian culture. And just because we go to yoga or eat sushi or go drink tequila on Cinco de Mayo, which is canceled, by the way, Trump canceled Cinco de Mayo. Just because we do those things doesn't mean we're going to throw out the freaking Magna Carta or the scientific method or the Declaration of Independence or stop pretending that the Boston Tea Party didn't happen.
I know.
I'm sorry. If you want to come here, you got to be part of this culture. We're not Yugoslavia. We're going to balkanize into all these things. And I got some neighbor sacrificing a goat, hanging off a tree in the backyard. I mean, some of that stuff is happening in Europe, which is a preview of what could happen if people like Donald Trump and J.D. Vance don't continue to get reelected.
I agree. We're talking to author A.J. Rice, his latest piece of work, The White Privilege Album, bringing racial harmony to very fine people on both sides. You're absolutely right. I can't, we had a racial incident, a huge thing this past weekend, right? This white kid, I think he was white, got stabbed to death by a black teenager because he asked the kid to move out of his seat. They were at a track meet. Outrageous. The black kid came into this tent, the other team's tent where the victim was, and his brother, and the brother asked the kid to leave, the media goes, and a fight broke out. That's how I go, well, no, a fight didn't break out. Somebody asked somebody to do something. He might have put his hands on him. Like that's justifying taking somebody's life. And here's the sad part, AJ, about this is there's a GoFundMe, and they have over $100,000 raised for the suspect, for the alleged killer. And he even said to the cop, I'm not alleged, I did it. But then he does the old... he put his hands on him. He self-defense, which doesn't work in this case. You're not supposed to bring a fucking knife to a track meet anyways, number one. And number two, if you get a little fisticuffs or verbal exchange, you go right to death. I've so fucking had it. I calmed down for a while. At the beginning of my career, I would say this shit anywhere. And I never calmed down on live shows. But I'm just saying, I don't understand. Explain to me, AJ, when it comes to race, I don't understand this protecting black people at all. Is that just another play in the Marxist playbook? It really is, right? I mean, is that what it is?
It
Dividing
is. It is. I mean, look, if this were reversed and the races were reversed,
right?
I mean, there would be. I mean, Anderson Cooper would be under the bleachers broadcasting.
Right.
I mean, it would just be breathless coverage about how Trump's America. Black track student stabbed by whitey. Yeah. I mean, it would be everywhere. Yes. We'd have a moment of silence everywhere.
Riots.
And, I mean, absolutely. Right? I mean, the cities would be burning. I mean, but here's the thing. What I find interesting, and they do this with a lot of things, right? They do this with a lot of things. They do it with Israel and Hamas. They do it with Zelensky. Is that they're always looking for sort of the white racist underlining cause, or they're able to, through this leap and bound, sort of extrapolate the reason that this person stabbed this white kid. Like, well, he probably, had a bad home life or this or that, or, there was, he's probably, he probably only got 5 pairs of Jordans instead of 6, or whatever the hell it is, right?
Yeah.
Just like they do with Israel. With Israel, they're just like, well, one of the hostages didn't have any food, but Hamas didn't have any food.
I know.
Israel was starving Hamas, so then the hostages were starving too. I mean, this is what they do to bring more equivalency.
Boys and girls, as you know, I do stand-up comedy, and it's my bread and butter, it's my oil and vinegar, it's my pineapple and spaghetti sauce. They put it on pizza. That's how stupid it sounds to me. That's what I say to people. Do you put fruit in your tomato sauce, you fuck stain? Anyway, tour dates. April 25th, I'll be at Cohoes Music Hall in Cohoes, New York. And then May 15th and 16th at Zanies in Rosemont, Illinois. Here's something you got to listen up. Oh, merch. Merch? No. It says merch reader. For all you folks who love TikTok, I got great news. It just got a whole lot better. That's right. I finally got an account. I thought I had an account for years on it. That's how I follow my career. And we'll be posting content there that isn't on my Instagram or my Facebook. So open the TikTok app, and before you start scrolling through those clips of a puppy and a great white shark hanging out in the living room together, or 2 college co-eds throwing pudding at each other naked, before you get to that, and you will get to that, type in at Nick DiPaolo Comedy. Let me spell that for you real quick. Nick DiPaolo Comedy. And then hit the follow button. Okay? You can watch full episodes of my show and Louder with Crowder and all exclusive Rumble content ad-free with 1 subscription. So join Rumble Premium and enter promo code MUGCLUB. That's one word to get $10 off your annual subscription. And catch me again on Crowder tomorrow morning. I know you did today because you love me. Anyway, speaking of love, back to my second part of the interview with A.J. Rice.
Hi, good night, everybody.